Hello there, this is Roberto Matthews with another tip for you. Today I'm going to show you how to create this wonderful background that's basically pictures fading into each other. And it's all done with CSS, and we're going to show you how to do it right away. So the first part of this is we've already created our site, and all we've done is we've created the logo, the navigation area, which is this area right here. And then the header area, which doesn't have anything except like a welcome, and our main section, which is all this section just for padding up everything. Okay. And so we're going to have everything happen right here in the welcome screen. Just a couple of things on the header, which is where we're going to stay for a long time, is we're going to have our header be calculated as 100% of the viewport height minus the 58 px. The 58 pixels is how high this navigation is. The reason we do that is because if we do a border here of green solid and we run it, as you can see, our header just takes up that amount of space. If we were to take this off and just say height is 100 vertical height, or viewport height rather, then as you can see, even though it starts here, it kind of goes all the way down until this part. So basically the entire height is pushed down. So that's exactly why we do what I just showed you. Okay, so that's just a little extra tip, but that's not what we're going to do today. Today we're going to do that wonderful moving background. Now, you can put whatever you want in the middle here. Of course, we can make it have, so for example, in our header, we have it display flex, justify contact center, etc., etc. And this background position and this background cover, we're going to talk about that in just a second. And the reason we have the position relative is because we want our everything that's inside here, buttons or whatever else you put on here, we want it on top of our background. And I'm going to show you in a second how that's all going to work. So let's go ahead and erase all this and start over. Okay, we go step by step. So basically nothing's really changed here. Okay, so the first step we're going to do is we're going to put our background images in here. So to do that, we're actually going to create a keyframe. So the keyframes that we're going to use are we're going to put 5 pictures here. So if we had 3 pictures, we divide 100 by 3 and then use those numbers. If we had 7 pictures, we divide 100 by 7 and we do it that way. But since we're only using 5 pictures, we're going to do 0 and 100 so that we start and end with this picture. And then we're going to flip through all these other pictures. So whatever amount of pictures you have, just divide that by 100. And then we put all our pictures in. Okay, so in this case, we're just going to source it from Unsplash so that you can see what it looks like when you're sourcing it from a third party or, from the internet. But obviously, you would probably have your pictures on the server. Okay, we're going to delete this because I'm going to show you why we do that in a second. Okay, let's run. And so now we're just going to go ahead and call these keyframes on an animation. So we're going to put the animation in the header. So let's go ahead and do that. And so that's this. And so what we're going to do is we want each picture to last about 5 seconds. We're going to have 5 seconds of animation, 1 second going into the fade and 1 second coming out of the fade. So that's a total of 7 seconds, which means that we're going to do 5 pictures times 7 seconds, which is 35 seconds. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to do infinite so that it will loop forever. And so let's refresh that. And here are the pictures. So as you can see, our pictures are having trouble loading because the first time they load, they have to kind of present before they can do the fade. Now, the reason that happens is because it's got to download the picture and then go through the animation. So how do we skip this having to load each time and making it look kind of ugly? As a matter of fact, when we come back around, you will see that the fade works perfectly fine. So how do we make this happen perfectly the first time here? Okay, so in order to do that, what we're going to do first is have this animation happen at a super quick pace in the body. So we're going to say animation, and then we're going to say, I don't know, 200 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds, and then that's it. So we'll have it run one time very, very quickly. That way it'll load all the photos, and then the animation will be a lot smoother. So let's go ahead and run that. So notice we're going to have brand new photos, and they're all loading beautifully. Let's go all the way through them. And it works really nice. Now, as you can see, when I, move my viewport here, the background doesn't really compress the way it should compress, or the way I want it to compress. So that's why you saw earlier the background ideas here. So we're going to say background position, and we're going to put center. Now you can do center if you'd like. You can do center if you'd like, or you can do center bottom, or you can do center and then the top. So remember, this first center is the X position, and the second center is the Y position. So for instance, if I want to take this console and bring this up like this, then it's the center that's going to be moved. So if you have your phone in landscape, this is what you're going to see. If you have your phone more in portrait, this is what you're going to see. So if you want to decide that, for instance, I want the top of this to all be seen, I can do it that way. Let's run that. So now it's going to be the top that you see at all times instead of it compressing to the center. Okay, so that's that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the shading on. Okay, so as you can see, this is black right here, and it's kind of being obscured by the color of each one of these pictures. So let's imagine we want all these pictures to have the same sort of color cast over it. So in order to do that, we're going to do header, and then everything that's under, we're going to do header after. And so in order to do the header after, we need to make the header itself have a position. So that's why the position is relative here. And so now we're going to say the content is nothing, but the position is absolute. And then let's do left 0, top 0, width 100%, height the same. And now we're going to give it a color. So let's say background is going to be, let's say, this sky blue here. Okay, so when we do that, as you can see, we don't see anything. And why is that? Well, because this is actually on top of everything else. Now, this is the reason why we do a header, and then we say everything that's inside the header, we're going to give it a position of absolute also. And then we're going to say a z-axis of, let's just put it as 1,000. And then let's make sure we give this a z index that's less than that, so 500. And run that. And now we have our picture, we have all of our content on top of our after, or on top of our pseudo element here. Now, you might be asking, what happened to the pictures? Well, in order to fix that, we just take our after and we give it opacity. So opacity, let's do 33%. And now everything has sort of like a sky blue tinge to it, as you can see. Okay. Now I'm going to show you something really cool. You don't have to have a background that's solid either. Let's see if we could do something nice with this background. So instead of the background being solid blue like this, we can say linear gradient And then we can put sky blue and white. Now we have a beautiful sky blue going to a white, which fades pretty well here. But again, we can't see our background. Now, if we did that same opacity of, let's say 50%, it kind of messes up what we're doing here, because now everything is kind of see-through. So instead of doing opacity in this case like this, we can just add another color here, which is RGBA, or you can do transparent, but to be on the safe side, let's just go RGBA and let's put a white on here. So let's say 255, 255, 255, and then we make that 33%. And we run that. Now we still have the full sky blue, the full white, and we have our pictures showing right through here. We can even make it a little bit less. Let's say 10%. But that kind of starts to obscure our photo, but you get the idea. So we still have an opportunity to see all of our photos in the background, just like this, and have everything kind of fade through here. Okay, so that's about it. That's how you add some photos. Let's just review real quick. So in order to do it with CSS, all you have to do is create your keyframes, and then in your keyframes, we're going to create 5 pictures. And if we want to do 5 pictures, we do 100% divided by 5. We make sure that the 0 and 100% are the first picture so that it loops. And then we go through all of our other pictures. Let's imagine we were doing it with 7 pictures, just for kicks and giggles. So what we're going to do is say 100 divided by 7, and we get 14.29. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say 0 and 100 stays the same, but then we're going to put 14.29. Okay. And then we're going to just keep adding here. So we're going to say, so 14.29. So we say plus equals 28.58. Let's go ahead and do that. And then we say equals 42.87. And if we do it one more time, we should get 100%, or pretty close to 100%. So now we just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we have a 6th one, and now we have a 7th one. Now we have to say our calculation. So now we do the same thing we did with this. If we want each picture to last 5 seconds, or let's just say in this case, we want them to last 4 seconds. We say 4 seconds, and then we have to add 2 seconds. Why do we have to add 2 seconds? Because we have the 4 seconds that we're going to see the picture, and then 1 second after it, 1 second before it, to allow for the actual fade. Okay, so 7 times 6 is 42. So 42 seconds. And now when we run it, we can have 7 pictures lasting 4 seconds each and then fading through. And again, now that we have those pictures in, they will, if we don't have this animation running right before the animation running properly, or running proper right here, our actual animation running, we have to have it run one time all the way through so that our pictures can load. So this is a little hack to make them all load so that you don't get any flicker from them loading that first time, especially if you have large pictures or high quality pictures. Like in this case, all of these pictures are 720p. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know. Have a wonderful day. And once again, thank you all subscribers for finally getting me over that 4,000 subscriber hump. It's truly appreciated. Have a beautiful day.